History of a nation. History of a nation that faced death. History of a nation that sat down and ruled the world. History. History of a scattered nation. History. Just think, what great mission drove this nation forward step by step toward the earth? Like the sun, they lit up the entire earth. History. The nation of Muhammad, PBUH, adopted literature, culture, and spread across the earth. Rome trembled. They raised their flag. Day by day, they carried the torch of history. With great force, the Ummah of Muhammad moved forward. Welcome. Now let us look at one feeling. A barren desert transformed into a flourishing land, an ordinary settlement. People lived there, a dry, barren place. But they stayed and built. Because of one reason, this divided world was nourished with one thought. When that thought was created, it ruled for ages. This tradition continued. At that time, the two superpowers of the world, Persia and the Roman Empire, were wealthy and dominant. These two superpowers held dominance over the earth for hundreds of years, but Persia and Rome both fell. Throughout the entire world, people worshipped idols and bowed before statues. In Mecca, at the center of the city, stood an ancient religious establishment, the Kaaba. Toward the Kaaba, people had an ancient weakness. From ancient times, this weakness existed for a natural reason. What that reason was, we cannot say with certainty. About 40 years before the event we are about to describe, something happened. Now let us get acquainted with a name from history, a man who came with a massive army, a king named Abraha. Abraha wanted to destroy the Kaaba. He came with a massive army toward Mecca. The people of Mecca could not match him. No one could stand against that massive army. Abraha came toward the city. He had trained war elephants. He came with a second elephant leading. The people of Mecca watched in fear. Abraha built a massive structure. When his elephant stood before Mecca and began to march forward, the earth shook. The elephant created terrifying cries in the sky. The entire opposite side of Mecca was in shock. Mecca was left with no escape. Only the Banu Hashim clan and Abdul remained. Abdul, the great ancestor, remembered Ibrahim, AS. He could not bear to see the Kaaba destroyed. He went before his great forefather. At that moment, Abdul experienced something. He prayed to the great Lord, remembering his father Ibrahim, AS, and his son Ismail, AS, who had established this house. He said, "Lord, you know, take care of your house. We cannot protect it." Abdul-Muttalib's voice transformed. A feeling passed through the people. Far away in the sky, something appeared, slowly, a shadow, and that shadow covered the entire sky. A light came toward Mecca. Birds carrying small stones moved forward, flying in formation. Abraha was stunned. The birds flew toward the army. They began to move. The army tried to advance, but then from the sky came darkness, like a cloud descending. Abdul-Muttalib suddenly realized history was about to unfold before him as it had never unfolded before. He looked toward the sky. He saw birds coming in the direction of the path Abraha's elephant army was taking toward Mecca. The sky became overcast. The birds appeared. Their chattering sounds filled the battlefield. Terror struck, not just the elephants. Even though the commanders tried their best to calm the frightened animals, all those efforts failed. The animals panicked, then they fell. From every direction, stones rained down. Tiny stones, originally carried by the birds, turned into something like bullets, coming down, hitting heads. Within minutes, mixed with the soil, Abraha's massive army was destroyed. After that, the news spread across the entire Arabian Peninsula. From far distant places, idol worshippers began coming to Mecca with great devotion. They worshipped before the idols placed inside the Kaaba. This historical event became a turning point. Now the Kaaba became the center of life in Mecca. The most influential people gathered. Those who were divided now became Kaaba-centered. Questions of leadership arose. They debated. Things continued this way. The Kaaba held everything together. About 40 years after the incident of Abraha's elephant army, one day an important meeting was called in Mecca. The influential leaders of the Quraysh gathered. Outside the meeting hall, everyone listened. A leader spoke. A particular action was criticized. A specific personality was discussed. One of those present was named Amr ibn Hisham of the Banu Makhzum clan, a leader. Compared to other leaders, he was considered somewhat less, but in reality people followed him. Others were influenced by his wealth and status. His name meant father of wisdom, but he became known by the name Abu Jahl, meaning father of ignorance. He was from the Banu Makhzum clan. Also present was Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira from the Banu Makhzum clan, a senior figure. He was the uncle of Khalid ibn Hisham and the father of a brave son named Khalid, later known as Khalid ibn al-Walid. He was the chief of the Banu Jumah clan, Umayyah ibn Khalaf. Among them was a man named Bilal ibn Rabah, an Abyssinian slave. He later became famous for many important reasons. Sitting beside Umayyah ibn Khalaf was the chief of the Banu Taym clan, Abu Ghaffar Utbah ibn Rabi'ah. He was a proud man. He had a daughter named Hind, an even more proud and aggressive woman. Also present was someone whose name was one of the best among the Quraysh in terms of time, deed and religion, one who could influence anyone by his qualities. The Quraysh considered him their spokesperson. Also seated was a man of business. He led trade caravans to Syria and various countries. He was Abu Sufyan, son of Umayyah, the husband of Hind. Among the local figures, the youngest in that assembly was a man named Umar ibn al-Khattab. Though young, he had strength, courage, knowledge, and literacy. He was an outstanding character. He sat regularly at these gatherings, but he had not yet received permission to speak openly. He could not speak in the presence of Amr ibn Hisham and Abu Jahl. His maternal uncle was from the Quraysh. The subject of the meeting was a religion being preached in Mecca, a belief so different from the religion of their forefathers. All those present were disturbed. They said they were not attracted to this religion. They spoke, "Some people from our group are beginning to follow this new religion. Slaves and servant girls are praying in its way. Day by day this is growing. The slaves are following this. We, the noble ones, will become helpless. We cannot accept this. People say Muhammad is correct, but what are they saying? One time our forefathers rejected idol worship too, but our leaders never accepted that. If the Arabs leave idol worship and we become weak and powerless, then other cities will attack Mecca. Our leadership will be the same, equal in humiliation." One leader criticized another, saying someone from the Banu Hashim should handle this. They went to Abu Talib with a proposal. One man went to Abu Talib and said, "Stop your nephew Muhammad from preaching this religion. He can say what he wants, but stop him from speaking against us. You are his guardian. He is your nephew. We are not saying to oppose him. We are not saying to harm him. We only ask, do not let him speak against us. We believe in the religion of our forefathers, and we believe he is not on that path." Abu Talib then gathered the noble leaders. The son of Abdul Muttalib, representatives of the Quraysh leaders, came before him. The head of the Banu Taym spoke, "O Abu Talib, can you not see? Your nephew Muhammad is preaching against the religion of our forefathers. Stop him. Or if you do not stop him, then you yourself follow the religion of your forefathers, and tell us openly. Hand over your nephew to us. We will give him to the Quraysh leaders, whatever he wants, wealth, property, leadership, a beautiful woman, anything he wants in exchange for stopping this preaching. Or if he does not stop, we will take strong measures. What will you do? Will you choose Abu Talib's cleverness, or will you be satisfied? If your son does not stop, we will be forced into a hard position against them. What will you do? Will you ask him? Or will you keep him inside? Or will Banu Hashim take up arms against us?" The leaders pressed together, becoming one. The uncle, Abu Talib, was troubled. Where would he go in this crisis? He looked at the idols and said, "O Lord, you say, in this crisis, who will protect his own family? Who gave me no choice?" Then one bird dropped a stone on the idols. That scene was visible. Disappointed, Abu Talib went home. He called his nephew and, picking up the child, stood with his brothers, Hamza and Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. Abu Talib said, "O my son, today the clan leaders came. They said they will deal with you, a wealth, property, leadership, a woman, whatever you want. In exchange, stop preaching this new religion. Stop. Or if you do not stop, they will take strong steps against you, even fight against Banu Hashim. Now what answer will you give?" To his uncle Abu Talib, the nephew Muhammad, PBUH, gave the greatest protection to this world since he was born. Even though he himself did not believe in the religion he was preaching, he would never abandon his nephew. Today, facing him, with worry and grief in his expression, Abu Talib was helpless and emotional. But then he stood firm, for he had deep trust in Allah. He said, "Uncle, if they place the sun in one of my hands and the moon in the other, I will not stop this preaching. Either I will continue this great preaching until I die, or Allah will make this religion victorious." That day, the cutting words from the Quraysh leaders' hearts, we do not accept them. But today, 1400 years later, we live as their proof. What a courageous declaration he gave on that day. At a time when, according to the account, only a handful of men and women had declared that they had accepted Islam. In that darkness, he kept his own light burning. He worshipped alone. He continued calling to Allah. He accepted this. He purified himself. He called. He kept himself hidden. He did not share it with anyone yet. He said to himself, "This great preaching will go on. Allah will make it victorious on that day." That same day, he declared war against all falsehood. He did not fight with weapons. Rather, he fought by avoiding weapons, by truth. He chose the path of truth. Today, he was taking care of that truth carefully. In the coming days, he would give a life of truth to those who accepted it. He distributed his small amount of wealth. One day he would conquer the world. Not for a single moment was he swayed by the Quraysh representatives' temptations or clever arguments.